Alright, today we've got our first Patreon deck of Forged in the Barrens, and we've got some cool stuff going on here. So at a glance, this is a secret Paladin deck, but when we look deeper, we're just using Sword of the Fallen as a bit of a draw engine, and just a, powerful early game card. And this is actually a bit of a control Paladin, with a Cthulhu at the top end. For other top end stuff, we've got an Alexstrasza and a Keymaster Alabaster. We've got Talon Fordring to draw those. And then, of course, for Paladins, we have some good board clears with Consecration, Bear of Equality, and the new Blademaster Samuro. So even if we don't buff it, it's still good with the equality effects. But we can buff Samuro with Hand of Adal in particular. So yeah, it's a secret Paladin, but it's basically a control deck, right? And this seems like a good time to play it, because it's very likely that Sword of the Fallen is about to get nerfed next week. So yeah, shout out to Punflinger for the deck, by the way. Got a Mage. Always nice to see which of the three classes I'm going to queue into. Well, probably don't keep my expensive idiots. Knight of Anointment, very good. Mor'shan Watchpost, not really for this matchup. But if my opponent wasn't a mage, this Mor'shan Watchpost would have been really good.
May the light grant you peace.
My opponent kept 3 cards off the mulligan, so pretty sure I'm about to get destroyed here. Oh. My opponent's not playing Spell Mage, okay. That seemed not good. Well, double secret kind of sucks here. I somehow don't have a secret in play for my Northwatch commander. But it's pretty easy to go. Probably Avenge plus Northwatch Commander next turn. The Body of Cthulhu will be good next turn. Samuro to go with my equality. The Far Watchpost. Well, I don't think I'm worried enough about the Watchpost to do, like, equality or something. Could have played Heart of Cthulhu, I guess. But I think Body of Cthulhu is fine. Maybe I should have just preemptively put the Desk Imp into the Far Watchpost, though, since it's just getting hero powered here. But then my body wouldn't have been avenged. Well, this Watchpost is really annoying, but I think we're just gonna have to roll with it for a bit. It made my Knight of Anointment cost more, but I floated mana this turn anyway, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. Wildfire.
I can take them. Wait, not all of them.
Pretty powerful combination. Does Reckoning kill this? No, because it makes the hero power do damage. Man, my hand is so reactive. Kinda just want to punch my opponent for 9. Check for Noble Sack, sure. Yet another watch post. So at some point I'm going equality, some sort of board clear to kill these. I'm just gonna equip the ceremonial maul. Whatever. It's not really good if I set it off with equality, but oh well. That needs to die, so this is probably the equality turn. The question is, how do I activate my equality? I guess Samuro is the best tempo option. And we definitely hit with the maul here since we picked up a Sword of the Fallen. I'm gonna be honest, those watch posts didn't really do, like, anything. I mean, it's possible that these extra points of mana on the equality and consecration come into play later, but as of right now, I think they're kinda fine. That's annoying. That draws, Mordresh. I mean, if I don't attack into the Divine Shield, then my opponent can't play Mordresh next turn. But I don't know if I really care about my opponent playing it. I'm not close to dying. I can just equality it. Do I still have Reckoning in play? I do. So Mordresh actually dies to Reckoning if I kill this board. So this was... I didn't really figure out what the best play was here, honestly. My opponent can set off the Reckoning with Reckless Apprentice. And then I'm just gonna have to equality the big man. Okay, the opponent's not just gonna tempo the big man, I guess. Alright, my opponent definitely still has Mordresh in hand. But this is a good equality. Well, I mean, I say it's a good equality, but then I can't deal with Mordresh. So I guess it's just Heart plus Consecration, it's fine.
To battle for justice.
Galloping Savior, Oh My Yogg, Avenge. Sure. Well, this only has one charge left on it, right? So we hit, equip the maul, and then shoot with the maw. Now we have all 4 secrets up. We're at 10, which is not super comfortable. But the opponent is down 2 Reckless Apprentices and 1 Kuldara Drake. Makes it a little bit difficult to burst with the hero power. Okay, we counter the Wildfire, which is nice. Wow, Slam is not great. I almost would have preferred the Wildfire. Giving the opponent a free card sucked. But I guess it does still slow down my opponent's clock.
Planets and stars! Power for the taking!
So I believe there are 6 Mage secrets. They did discover that one off Scorpid though. So it's... I guess Ice Barrier looks pretty likely. Counterspell, probably not. Netherwind Portal, probably not that likely. I mean, if it's not Ice Barrier, I just have Lethal.
I must move quickly. Let me think. For justice.
I actually don't know if I really should have played the Watch Post here. Makes something like Flame Strike pretty good. And if I get my board cleared, I have like nothing next turn unless I draw into something good. I'm dead to Fireball and a Pexus Blast. I'm showing 15, so if my opponent doesn't kill me, it's pretty hard to not die. I don't feel like there's enough mana for that to discover anything. Can't get Ice Barrier or Cone of Cold.
Runs out on me.
Okay, sure. That card does exist. And they froze the one minion that mattered. Okay, they could have froze the whole board anyway. I feel like you hold that flurry, but maybe I'm wrong. This Sword of the Fallen. I have an Omayog and a Galloping Savior. Hitting Omayog here is insane, so I think I just get rid of the Maul. And I probably don't really need the damage from the Maul. Nice. Hit the 50-50 with the sword. I mean, if my opponent like draws a Fireball here, they do have the Runed Orb spell to eat the Galloping, or to eat the Omayog. But I really doubt that deck just main decks Fireball. Oh, what the fuck? No, combust my horse. Undo. I mean, I still don't really think this can be that bad.
What to May I have this dance?
Could have been like Brawl.
You win this.
Alright, nice. Nice, nice. Nice, 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 nice. Alright, so I ended up going 5 and 7 with this deck, which is not great, but also not terrible. Also, for what it's worth, 4 of those 7 losses were to Control Warlock, so if you're not playing at a ranked floor, that's probably a good sign for the deck. But anyway, there were a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of. Probably the card that I liked the least was Ceremonial Maul. Just 2 power on a weapon is pretty underwhelming. The Sword of the Fallen tends to stay in play for a lot of turns, which makes it weird to play another weapon. And even when you hit a 5/5 off this, it honestly doesn't really feel that good. So, not a big fan of Ceremonial Maul. Other than that, I also just didn't really like Avenge. It didn't feel like I was on the board enough for Avenge to be consistently good. And I also think that 8 secrets is possibly too many for this deck. Like, we do play 2 Sword of the Fallen, so you kind of want 6 secrets for those, and then you assume that you're probably going to draw a couple, so it makes sense to play 8 secrets with 2 Sword of the Fallen. But I think that, like, if we land 1 Sword of the Fallen that draws 3 cards, I think we're pretty happy with that, even if the second one only draws 1 or 2. So I think we don't really need 8 secrets. I think Avenge is the worst of the secrets, so I think I kind of want to cut those. And if 6 is too few, I think I would even be looking at Noble Sack over adding the Avenges back in. And then finally, I was not really a big fan of Blademaster Samuro. It does have a lot of synergies with the equality effects, as synergy with Hand of Vidal. But it seemed like for the most part it just kind of sat in my hand. I've already got Consecrations to go with equality, and 2 of the Cthulhu pieces are also good with equality, so like Blademaster Samuro on top of that seems not that useful. And I feel like I often play the Hand of Vidals just kind of whenever I can, don't really want to save those for Blademaster Samuro. So not a big fan of the Blademaster. I also was not really the biggest fan of Keymaster Alabaster, but Punflinger did say it's one of their favorite cards, so we'll leave it in for now. As far as replacements, I think I kind of just want to put First Day of School in this deck. It tends to be like the second highest win rate card in every Paladin deck, and it probably makes our Hand of Adals a little bit more playable. And honestly, Hand of Adal felt a little bit underwhelming in this deck, so adding First Day of School should help, I think. And we do like the card draw, so it's pretty hard to justify cutting Hand of Adal. Other than that, I think I kind of want to play Malygos in this deck. I played a Cthulhu deck recently, and I really liked how Malygos basically has the potential to just draw all of my Cthulhu pieces. And then if we happen to draw all of the Cthulhu pieces with Malygos, then we can use Talon Fordring to just draw Cthulhu out of the deck, right? So I think that's pretty good. This deck also does sometimes, in some games, just run out of cards. And can also help us fish for, like, equality stuff, if we feel like we're going to need that soon. And one of the things with Malygos is that it fills up your hand, but since we're probably fairly likely to draw a secret off of it, we actually don't overdraw with it too much in this deck. So I think I like Malygos. And speaking of Malygos, we can also play a red scale Dragon Tamer, because it draws into Malygos and it draws into Alexstrasza. I think both of those are pretty good minions to draw into. And then I think finally, I just want to play like Hammer of the Naru. I'm not super convinced on what should go in this slot, but it seems like this is a bit of a gap in the curve. I feel like we could kind of use just some mid-range thing to buy us some time. And since we cut a couple weapons, like I feel like Hammer of the Naru is just better Ceremonial Maul most of the time. So yeah, seems like that could be okay. There were quite a few other cards I considered adding though. We could play McGurgle, which is just a fine 2-drop that has good synergy with Talon Fordring. I considered Snack Run for a little bit of healing. Cariel Roam is just a good card. For another value thing, we could just play Tyrion. Could play Armor Vendor, although I don't know if this deck wants another card that's so low value. We already played 2 Mor'shan Watch Posts. We could definitely just play Far Watch Post as well, or maybe even just cut this Watch Post for the other one. We could even go full Watch Post and play a Cargill in the deck at that point. At that point, you probably have to be replacing Alabaster. For more card draw, we could just play Loot Hoarder. I thought about playing Mankrik in this deck, because it has turned out to be a decent card, has good synergy with Malygos, has good synergy with drawing cards. Could be okay. Venomous Scorpid, another potentially playable card. So there's like a lot of stuff that could go in this deck, but it's hard to find the room with all the secrets and all the like mandatory Paladin board clears. So I think for now, this is the version of the deck that I like. Oh boy, it's a Warlock. I do feel like Malygos makes the Warlock matchup a lot better. So I'm probably actually just going to keep Dragon Tamer. I have to imagine this is still like an 80-20 matchup, maybe not even. Not even as high as 20. Is what I mean. Could also be Zoo, I guess. I probably do pretty well against Zoo. Well, Galloping Savior's probably not that good against Control Warlock, but they are on the coin, so could come in handy.
There is so much untapped power in this world.
That looks like some Zoo shit. Actually, I guess this can be like a Rustwick deck, right? That doesn't necessarily mean Zoo. And that tap there feels very not Zoo. Well, I saw coin, so let's get the Oh My Yogg in play. Alright, so definitely is control. which is not good, but it's something.
Reporting for duty.
My hand is really trash right now, but I do have 2 Cthulhu pieces already, which is nice, I guess. Best draw in my deck, obviously, since I'm going into my 5-mana turn, is my 2-mana Sword of the Fallen. I can start getting secrets out of the deck, which makes Malygos hit my other Cthulhu pieces. Wow, that is really not good for me. Probably Consecrate here, or Heart of Cthulhu, I guess. Okay, 3 Cthulhu pieces.
The battle.
There's the Rustwicks. 6 mana, play a hammer.
For justice.
I'm still really happy to draw Sword of the Fallen. Like, I would probably play Sword of the Fallen over this 3-mana weapon next turn, so I'm just going to use the weapon charge here. And also, I do need to beat through the opponent's armor so that Cthulhu actually kills. Interesting. Okay. So my opponent does just play Blood Mage Thalmos in their deck. It works with Drain Soul, it works with School Spirits. But I'm not sure that I'm that afraid of it overall. Kinda just want to push 3. I'm gonna push 3.
For justice. Reporting for duty.
Could have played Hand of a Doll on my 6/6 here to protect it, but I think this is fine. If my opponent deals exactly 5 damage here, I'm gonna be disappointed in my weapon attack, but I don't think it's super likely. Okay, bad weapon hit, but my opponent did have to have 2nd School Spirits, 2nd Drain Soul. Seemed pretty unlikely. Well, I guess I'm floating some mana.
For justice.
This is my last weapon charge, so I guess I'll hold on to it. Oh, am I gonna get a 3/4 this turn? Wow, that thing really needs to die before I play Malygos. Well, I think this is just an Alabaster turn.
Magic. Reporting for duty.
Do I get Soul Fragments in my hand? Oh, I do. These don't draw a card when I play them, right? They're just 1 mana heal 2. So they're actually kind of bad. Okay. I'm pretty happy to see that, I think. This looks like an Alexstrasza turn. Maybe an Equality turn. Yeah, pretty sure I like Equality Consecration here.
Do try to keep yourselves alive.
And then I guess I just play all this other garbage. Oh, this is still a 6/6. Right. I was thinking that Alabaster gave me a 1-mana 1/1 for some reason, but this is a real minion. So yeah, that's very nice. I mean, I don't get the heals off these, but I need to dump them for Malygos anyway, so whatever. How many spells do I have in deck? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I really would like to draw as many as possible with Malygos. Okay, I didn't mill Eye of Cthulhu. Pretty sure I just jammed Malygos here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, my opponent hasn't played Talon Fordring. I kind of need to draw into an equality, though. And, like, what am I doing instead? Maw of Cthulhu, Watch Post. I guess Maw of Cthulhu, Watch Post is pretty good, actually. I think I can play Malygos, though. Alright, so I've assembled all the Cthulhu pieces. And I can hold this Hand of Adal so that there's never a turn where the Cthulhu is just floating in my deck. And Guardian Og Merchant's kind of sick here.
That's an upgrade. Probably.
For justice.
I would have been quite happy to just play Oh My Og. But Guardian Og Merchant was nice.
I have become one.
Oh god, this could screw me so hard. Deck of Lunacy. I don't think that messes up anything my opponent was hoping to do. Wow, double Flame Strike is insane. I really just don't think I'm allowed to play my equality here, because then I just instantly lose to Yasharaj, without mill even being a factor.
Let me think.
Oh man, this position sucks.
I wonder.
The cycle of life is reborn anew.
I think this is my only play. I'm gonna eat 7 here, which is awful. When did I play my Barov? I hit like 2 big things off Barov, didn't I? I think I hit double Strongman with it. Pretty sure that was worth it. Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate that I milled one of my equality effects. It does seem like the equality effects are really important in this matchup, though. So, like, maybe we should play Libram of Justice as well. Cool. It would have been really scary if they hit, like, Cenarian Ward or, the thing that makes an 8/8. That all would have been quite bad. Well, Talon Fordring is good here. It blocks Jiraxxus damage. It also just means that, like, I can shuffle Cthulhu next turn if it sticks around. Well, I need the bubble on it to be popped as well. Maybe my opponent just dies to, like, Alexstrasza Eye of Cthulhu, though. Equality Eye of Cthulhu, Hand of Adal pushes a pretty significant amount of damage. My opponent has played 2 Nethers already, but they've got to have a Cascading Disaster in their hand. So, I think it's pretty unlikely that they're just dead here. Okay, Siphon Soul, sure. Oh, right, they, Deck of Lunacy, I forgot about that. Okay, that's still strong, though. It's a little late to play the Kazakus, isn't it, buddy? Well, I don't really know how long ago they played it. Well, this is an interesting position to be in. I think I have to equality here, which is pretty rough. I'm just so likely to randomly die if I don't kill this board. Samson is also pretty scary. I mean, the opponent's weak here. God, I did so much damage to my Alex, though. I held the Hand of Adal to guarantee Cthulhu after I play Eye of Cthulhu, but I might be too weak for that. And, like, I don't have an equality anymore, so if they play the second Ticketus, it's not like I can clear and then set that up the next turn. So I don't know, maybe I should have just jammed Hand of Adal. Well, that's not good. Alright, well this is definitely, once again, a Cthulhu game. Man, it really had to be this prime minion, didn't it? Hand of Adal this up to 5, I would need 3 missiles to hit it to avoid giving my opponent health. That's just so unlikely.
I must move quickly.
My opponent just always has Yasharaj next turn.
Death is not my goal.
I think I just have to YOLO the Hand of Adal to try to hit Cthulhu here. I don't think I have time to do anything else. Yeah, I miss. But, like, I just lose to the tempo from Yasharaj. My only chance was having Cthulhu. I can't push through it because, strongmen. Okay, my opponent has 2 soul fragments in their deck. Which means they always have Yasharaj in hand here. I mean, I guess they haven't played a Cascading Disaster. So, like... Oh, wait. Maybe the soul... I guess the soul fragments get overwritten by Deck of Lunacy, right? So they actually might not have Yasharaj in hand. But I mean, it's also just, like, so likely that they have it that I think my play was correct. Yeah, okay, so you just play it. Although I guess their hand is pretty full. That's the issue, huh? They didn't even mill me. Oh. Maybe I was not evaluating this game properly. Their hand is too full of Deck of Lunacy garbage. I see. I mean, I'm still in a bad spot here because my opponent has a 10-10 that I can't deal with. And I can't kill my tail in this turn.
Reporting for duty. I am almost out of cards.
I don't think I'm ever dead here. The only damage I can think of is Jiraxis, but my opponent's still 2 off. Jiraxis, Abusive Sergeant. My opponent might just have Power Watch Buses up to 10, so it doesn't counter Cthulhu. My opponent just might have too many stats to die here. I don't think they do. $14, $15, $16, $17, $19, $28. Yeah, so I'm like 3 over here. Alright. Well, that was a very unlikely game. But I guess the matchup is winnable. Alright, so I played my version of this deck, and ended up going 4-3, so pretty good results, I guess, especially since we were able to beat that control Warlock, although I don't expect that is going to happen very often. But yeah, I like a lot of the changes I made to the deck. I didn't miss the Avenges at all. I felt Malagos was really powerful. I felt that the Murloc pulled its weight. I also didn't miss the Ceremonial Mauls. Hammer of the Naru was okay. So yeah, overall, the changes I made to the deck, I think I'm pretty happy with all of them. But there are still some other changes we could make. I definitely feel like this Keymaster Alabaster is out of place. I left it in because Bunflinger said they like the card, but I mean, if you want the deck to be more competitive, you probably cut this. Alexstrasza, I was actually not that big a fan of. I feel like I kind of just want to go all in on like Dragon Tamer hitting Malagos and not having expensive stuff clogging my hands so I can draw all my Cthulhu pieces. That kind of just seems like the way to go. So I don't really like either of these big legendaries. And then like the Hammer of the Naru I can take it or leave it. But everything else, I think I'm pretty happy with. I do think maybe I want to play like a Libram of Justice. We don't play any Libram stuff, although we certainly could rebuild the deck to include Libram stuff. But we currently don't play any. But we do have double Consecration and 2 Cthulhu spells that go with equality effects. As well as just like having minions in play to go with the equality effects. So we have like 4 or 5 things that want an equality, and we only have 3 equalities, so like maybe a 4th equality is pretty good. There is a bit of an issue with too many weapon charges, but I think maybe we can just like cut Hammer of the Naru, include the Libram of Justice. As far as replacing Alabaster and Alexstrasza, I did kind of feel like I was dying, so like maybe something that heals. I mean, it does seem kind of weird to cut Alexstrasza for something that heals, but she's so expensive. Well, I forgot they buffed Holy Light. We could actually just play 2 mana heal 8 in this deck. I don't know if that's really that good, though. Maybe a Death's Head Cultist would be pretty decent. Snack Run is another card I would look at. So yeah, I mean, realistically, I'd probably just cut these and then play probably 2 of Death's Head Cultist or Snack Run, whichever one ends up being better. And at this point, it definitely feels like much more of a dedicated Cthulhu deck than it was originally. And I'm not entirely sure that that's a good thing, because I played 17 games with this deck, and I only ever got to play Cthulhu once. It was like relevant one other time, but the vast majority of games, even the games I won, the Cthulhu was not super relevant. But this deck can probably still win games with just its early game curve. Like maybe with that in mind, we want Death's Head Cultist just because it's a decent minion. If you're not worried about dying though, rather than Death's Head Cultist, you could definitely play the other Watch Post, Far Watch Post. And if you end up including another Watch Post, then you definitely can just play Cargill Battlescar in this deck with 4 Watch Posts. I guess at that point you'd probably have to cut, like, the Libram of Justice I just included. But, like, that would be a pretty reasonable package. Or instead of playing those kinds of fancy new cards, you can just jam a couple Loot Hoarders in here. Because Loot Hoarder, pretty sure that card is still in Standard, right? Yeah. But I think the inclusion of the Malagos means that we don't actually need to force that much card draw. So yeah, anyway, I like this version of the deck. There's probably, for sure, some more tinkering you could do with it. But I think this build looks pretty cool, and it was definitely pretty fun. I've really enjoyed playing Malagos Cthulhu stuff this expansion.